All right, and we're recording. Well, I'm going to tell you for once, my best friend from high school, we've known each other since we were 15 years old, my friend Lisa. And I don't know if you want to say your last name or not. That's totally up to you.
No.
But anyways, I'm sure people, if they did their research, they'll figure out who you are. But
Maybe,
yeah. I know. We kind of try to keep it down the low. But anyways, I invited Lisa here today. Lisa is a CPA. She is not really practicing a whole lot anymore. Would you say that, Lisa?
I would say that I practice a lot. I'm just not really looking for any new clients.
Gotcha. But you do more of a commercial side of things than commercial businesses instead of individuals.
Business organizations, yes. Yeah. I am not a 1040 preparer.
God, well, darn it. I was hoping for some advice today, but what we're going to talk about today, and it's a mixture of real estate and her expertise. I've sold several houses for Lisa, and she's also bought, and she has a condo down in Florida. She had two of them. And I remember when I was with the other broker, you were very generous in using me, getting you a referral down there. And since you've sold one of them and you've kept one.
I have.
And it's in Destin, correct?
Yes.
So what we're going to talk about today, if you can elaborate, how in the hell did you save money to get to be where you're at today, to be able to not only afford a condo here in Kentucky, but being able to buy two of them, now just one, but how were you able to do all of that?
I've lived below my means my entire life, pretty much. I knew what I wanted to do, and I made it happen. So,
hello. Put it this way, guys. She is doing this for me. I begged her. She tried to do somebody else. Like, why don't you interview this person? No. I said, because I don't know them. And there's going to be down the road people that I don't know and interview. But I think when you know somebody, you feel a little bit more comfortable talking.
Right.
And then it kind of the time goes by a little bit quicker. I did not prepare any questions for today because I figured if we go off route, that's all right. But how did you know that? How did you know to live beneath your means? I know that, Ramsey says it. Dave Ramsey says it. I followed him for quite some time, and I still do. It's really, really difficult for a lot of people to live below their means. So, what's the advice that you can get to give people that, you know what, this is the answer. This is what you need to be doing.
So I also follow Dave Ramsey and have for a very long time. I think that, initially when I purchased my first condo, I bought it with Kentucky bond money. Now, this was 30 years ago. Mm-hmm. So I think that, the first thing is making sure that you can afford, exactly what you're looking for and trying to find money out there because, I don't know about today, if there's money today, but, making sure that if there is cash available either at the state, federal, local level, that you have looked into that because you can't get money after the fact. So if you find something and then buy it and then find out that there were incentives to purchase there, you're not going to get them.
Right.
But with that being said, so my first condo I had Kentucky bond money that, that was the money that was down. Mm-hmm. And so the idea was that, you had to stay there for 7 years, which I had always intended to keep it.
Right.
Because I had a plan to live here half the year and then in Florida half the year. So that was always the plan. And then after I decided to build another home, at that point it was, making the decision, all right, do I pay for something that is going to stretch me, or am I going to, make sure that if I don't have a renter in that first home that, I can afford, to eat that week.
Right.
So, just making sure that, I think, you have a budget. That's the first thing, from the very beginning, is having a budget, whether you're renting or, you're owning a home, or, whatever that looks like. You want to make sure that you have a budget and that you update it all the time. And that has been my go-to for really the reason that I'm able to do what I'm doing today.
So even though when you were applying for your loan, I assume you took a loan out.
I did. And so I did have, at the time I was working for a firm that was auditing mortgage companies.
Oh.
And we were, worked in the home building industry. I've been in that industry for a long time. Mm-hmm. So, I did have some inside information that other people probably wouldn't have, mm-hmm. unless they searched and, really were trying to find it.
Right.
But,
right.
So, yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of people think that, and I've encountered this being an agent, that since you're pre-approved for $450,000, that let's buy a $450,000 house, and then from what you're telling me, it's like you don't have to buy a $450,000 house just because you're approved for that.
That's correct. And really, with that being said, before I bought the condo that I'm in now, mm-hmm. I really wanted to be in a condo that was 4 times that amount.
Right.
And there's still days that, when I drive past and I'm like, you know what, that would have been to have a nice view. That would have been a really nice view.
You have a pretty nice view of the golf course, that's for sure.
I do have a very nice view, but it's not of downtown Cincinnati.
Well,
so
I can help you with that.
I know you can. But with that being said, I'm debt free. And, being 52 and debt free,
that's a lot.
With what I have is, it's a peace of mind. And so, I think that, we all make decisions, and, if you want to be in a $450,000 house and that's your dream, it's one of those things that, do you want to put yourself in a position where, you're happy with what you have, mm-hmm. Or dial it back and be in something that, you're still happy, but, it's not as much of a payment, right?
Well, and the fact that you have 2 places, so you can, if you're dialing it back and you're able to afford that other place down in Florida, like you yourself have been able to do, yeah. That, to me, I think I would rather live in a smaller place to be able to go and live somewhere else for a little bit.
Well, and so the first condo that I bought, I still own.
Mm-hmm.
So that condo, when I was looking for the next place, I really wanted to be in a home that was $100,000 more than what I purchased. Mm-hmm. But I was able to build the home. So, there's things that I think that we can do that maybe go with a different builder. Because the builder that, that was $100,000 more had higher end homes.
Right.
So, it wasn't that I didn't get a new home. It's just that,
the quality was just a little bit different than
it was. And it
yes.
was in a little bit different location. But,
right.
As you know, because you
sold the home.
You sold the home.
I was there.
Right?
Oh, I remember.
Yeah. So, it's give and take. It's really, deciding what you want and what you want to pay for and how much stress you want to have from that payment. Yeah. There was a time, not too long ago, really, that I had, 3 mortgages. Mm-hmm. And, ultimately, if I had 2 renters that, weren't paying, or that, that would have been a bad situation. But I set it up so that, even if that were the case, I still would have been able to pay my bills. I wouldn't be sweating. I wouldn't be getting into my savings.
I know you too well that I know you wouldn't put yourself in that position. Yeah, so I know that you had backup plan for that. Yeah. But why did you sell your second condo in Florida?
I sold the second condo in Florida because of the drama that was going on down there, and that still goes on. So
we like drama.
I don't like drama.
I know, but we like to know. We like to hear about it.
So our board so 6 years ago, everything was hunky-dory, and the board decided that they were going to buy the on-site restaurant that we have down there. And so I know from having my own restaurant and working in the restaurant business for many years that it's...
just a little bit of information. Lisa and I worked at Gold Star Chili together back in the day, back in our early 20s.
Yeah, well, and luckily, we didn't sell alcohol there, so there wasn't as much drama as there is in Florida at our restaurant selling alcohol. So there was some dancing on the bars by the manager, who's also a board member. And I could get really deep into this just because...
Sounds like my kind of place.
Yeah. So...
Is that better? Okay.
Better for you. I don't think you're going to be in it, though.
I'll get it.
Okay.
All right. Well, a little bit of hiccup right there, but I think that we're good. I don't know why it stopped filming. It said that I exited out of the program, and I can't because my phone's up there.
Yeah.
Anyways. All right. Just more editing.
Yeah.
Good times. Yeah. All right. So what were we talking? Oh, yeah. About renters. What are you supposed to do? Have them, with a test strip saying this isn't oil before they pour it down. And I mean, it's just, people sometimes just don't give a shit about other people's property, and they're going to do what they want to do.
Right.
And unfortunately, as a homeowner of the property, you take the blunt of it, right?
Right.
So I remember when that happened too. Man, that sucked.
And and the thing is that the insurance didn't cover it all because ultimately they covered the bottoms of the couch, not the whole couch. But I get it. That's the whole couch wasn't ruined. It was just, but I mean, ultimately it was just, and it was during COVID. So, literally it was going to take, months, 6 months to get new cherry cabinets. It was going to take, so,
Jeez.
I did the best with what I had, and from 700 miles away.
Right.
And, did I pick the greatest contractors? No, but I got contractors in there. Some of them were 2 years, 3 years out. So,
Jeez,
and so even with that being said, you just take that same condo, somebody blew up the microwave. I guess they were trying to heat it up. I don't know. But there were just some things that were happening, and I was
people kill me, man. They do. People kill me.
All these chains of events I needed to get out, and I did, and so.
So from what you're telling me, you plan on hitting the road in September?
It's the plan.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
And
I've got
staying
my
down there
Florida license.
Yeah.
I got that taken care of, and then, we'll just see how it goes. I mean, I can work from anywhere, and I'll come back here just because I've got clients that I meet with here. But I just want to check it out. I want to
just see how it goes for the 7 months, and
and see how I like being a snowbird. And if I don't, I'll come back. And if I don't like the area, or if I don't like, because I do love Destin. I love the Emerald Coast. I love the Redneck Riviera. I mean,
I like that Redneck Riviera. That's awesome.
The entire, from Panama City Beach all the way to, Gulf Shores, Alabama. I mean, the coast is just amazing. So, but I don't know if it'll be amazing to be there for 7 months.
I'll come see you.
I know you will.
We'll do a podcast down in Florida.
I know, on the beach.
Heck yeah! I'll set this up. This stuff is portable. Heck yeah! I don't need. It runs on batteries if I don't have a electrical outlet, so might not be able to talk as long. But I mean, I can do this podcast from anywhere.
There you go.
Hopefully, it will still be going.
Yeah.
In October, it will. I'm determined.
Okay. Well, you got the invite. I'm ready.
I'm ready too. I mean, it's been hotter than Hades here, and I know that it gets pretty daggone warm down there in the summer. But I guess the one question I wanted to ask you is, do you get fearful of the home insurance policies down there? Because I know a lot of the condos had to do assessments to the fact of, condos, falling, like literally just falling apart because they weren't constructed appropriately. So how about you and the tenants there? Do you get worried about the home insurance?
So the state of Florida required condos that had, I believe, more than 4 stories, that they had to get assessments. Engineers had to come in, give a report what it was going to take to get them in compliance, and they came in to where we're at. And these condos were built in 2007. I think they're built like prisons. I mean, I think they're in great shape, but they still came back, with $1 million, that we had to come up with, and came up with a plan to, keep things so that they're structurally sound. And that's what they're doing with all of the condos in Florida. It was a requirement. So, but they did pass a rule, I think, that they allowed to push back the dates because it was putting some people in very dire straits.
Does it say some people were foreclosing and couldn't? I mean, if you're slammed with $100,000 assessment, which I've had friends that have condos down there, not necessarily Destin, but I mean, they're lucky that they had the money to do it, but not everybody has the money to do that.
Yeah.
And so condos are going up for sale left and right.
Yeah. Well, and I think that you'll see some properties that just are going to get demolished, and VCs will come in and buy the property or buy, the paper, whatever they can do.
Right.
And they'll build new. And unfortunately, that's, I mean, some of these condos were built a long time ago, and they just, to get them to be up to code now is ridiculous amounts of money that, they're not worth. So, but with that being said, I think that I'm in good shape with that, as far as that goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you think that home insurance will finally start coming down a bit? I mean,
I don't, because of the hurricanes. I think that the devastation that's caused all through Florida, and those are things that, if you're looking to purchase outside of your area to rent, or even to move to, you need to really look at all of that. I mean, I've been looking in Florida for the last 25 years to buy. I mean, when 2008 happened, I was looking to see, okay, what could I get at the time? Right.
Either short sales, foreclosures, whatever. Right.
Because the condo that I got, the first one was a short sale. And then the second one was, I'd been hawking the online. I still hawk online. Every time something goes down, I get a notification.
You're the hawk on the hill.
So, yeah. Well, I mean, because I'm always looking for a good deal. It's not like, it's not like I've stopped. It's just that, I'm trying not to get back into debt if I don't have to. And I'm kind of trying to take it easy for a little bit. My daughter just graduated.
How about enjoying your money? Yeah.
I'm pretty happy about that.
I had friends that told their daughter when she graduated college, it was like June 1, you're done. Yeah. But yeah, I'm proud of Miss. She's done really well. She's started her new job and is kicking butt. Yeah, I'm proud of her.
So yeah, I'm taking a breather, I think, until I find something that I want to buy, and then I'll buy it. And if I don't, I don't. So. Well,
I'm jealous. Maybe one of these days.
Well,
I do not live beneath my means.
Do you have a budget? Do you follow the budget?
Not really. I try. But I'm like, I always tell everybody, I'm expensive and I'm going to work till the day I die because I like to travel. Yeah. I like nice things. I like nice food. And I get you. I know. And trust me, this lady, I've learned so much from her, and it's always the voice in the back of my head, from learning from you and what you've been through and what we've both been through growing up. Sometimes in survival mode, and making sure that we're not going to continue a lifestyle that I wouldn't say regretted, but growing up was just a little bit challenging for us both, I think. Do you think?
Well,
a little bit.
I mean, I think that, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and I think that if you make the decision that you're, going to be different than, what your past is, that you're going to make it happen,
Yep.
And so, these are all things that, I've just done for years, I mean.
You're very disciplined, that's for sure.
So, and it's stuff that I think that you just don't think about, I mean, it's if you put in your budget that you're going to spend, $500 a month on, beauty, then you're going to do it. But if you could dial it back to $100 a month, then,
right.
And but it's got to be something that you want to do. I mean, I paint my own fingernails.
You do a good job. Mine wouldn't look that good.
But, and I go to the hair school to get my facials and, I mean, there's just stuff that I do that I don't have to do. It's just that it's not my budget,
Gotcha.
But I also drive a new Cadillac, so there's that.
Well, you've always liked nice cars.
But, I mean, it just really depends on what what's in your budget and what you do, I do have also a Lily Pulitzer addiction, I mean, there's things.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I've got a Louis Vuitton addiction. I mean, it's bad. It's so bad.
So, I mean, there's just things that you spend money on that you don't, if it's in your budget, you do it. And if it's not, then you don't,
Yeah. I need more of that discipline.
I know.
I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, sometimes you have to do stuff for yourself. It's just that, when I think back to, 30 years ago when I was fresh out of college, got my first job, it's like, okay, I know that I want to, have my own home. I don't want to rent. And that's, I mean, there's times over the course of the last 30 years that I wish I would have been a renter with all of the things that you have to deal with, with, AC goes out or,
right.
All of these things that, you have to, take
budget
care
for
of.
that. I mean, if you have renters, you're the landlord. They're relying upon you to get that stuff done.
So, I mean, there's just things that, when people, say, oh, I don't really want to buy anything. Well, I get it, because then you have to be responsible for everything that's around that. And, it just because I'm debt free doesn't mean that I don't have to pay my property taxes.
Right.
When the property taxes obviously have went up everywhere because the values are skyrocketing. So, it's all relative.
Oh, and it's just a lot of people think, oh, well, I have renters, and so, I'm getting a steady income. Well, no, not necessarily. What if their lease comes up and they don't redo? Then you're having a harder time trying to find renters, and then your HVAC goes out.
Right.
So now you don't have steady income, and you're having to fork over $10,000, $15,000 or whatever it may be to get the HVAC replaced.
Yeah.
So these are all considerations of, what people need to think about when they buy a second property if they're not going to rent it, or if you do rent it, the outcomes, that the different scenarios that could take place.
And I have horror stories from, being a landlord. I mean, I allowed pets, and one small dog turned into 3 dogs and 2 cats, which meant, I had to basically take out the floorboard, spray, do all of the stuff, so, and my renter at the time had put a remnant down. So when people went in to look, you couldn't tell, but basically they just destroyed the carpet and just put a big piece of remnant down. So, I mean, there's just things that,
the joys of being a landlord.
Yeah. And, ultimately you can't get blood out of a turnip. So,
true that.
And I've tried to, go after renters that have, let the electric go off. So the refrigerator smelled like somebody died in it, and, there's just so many things. And it's a lose-lose situation, because what you're going to get back with attorney fees, and and unfortunately I think that from what I've seen, the judicial system is more for the tenant and less for the landlord. So, and
I just had a situation with one of my listings. So, yeah, it was messy. I'm not going to go into quite detail on that one just yet because it's too soon to talk about. But we'll circle back to that at a later date once property is sold. But yeah, totally.
And that's one of the things that's super important is being present, because you have to make sure that either you or a property manager is going in and making sure they haven't
Right.
punched holes in the walls, or have 10 families living there, or there's just so many things that
taking all of your appliances and run with it.
Yeah. Or building new buildings in the basement. I could go on and on.
I've shared some of those experiences with you, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, and
little scary experiences.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie on that one.
It's crazy. Yeah. And it's, even though I have property managers down in Florida for the properties, I still go down there and it's like, okay, something's hanging on by a string. Well, instead of saying, hey, I did this, it's like, all right, well, let's see if we get caught,
Right.
And ultimately the property owner is the one that's got to take care of it. So, when I hear people talk about how expensive it is to vacation in Destin, well, I don't think that you're taking into consideration that, we are paying for everything,
right.
And, there's so many fees between the property taxes, insurance,
Do you have like a resort fee or something that you
resort fees?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cleaning fees. It's just
plus your trash and everything else.
everything's included.
There's more fees added on when you're in a establishment like that than just buying a house.
Yeah.
Because it's not just HOA. There's other things involved.
Well, and the thing is that if you're looking for something that's cheaper than, there's a really a bunch of hotels down there that you can probably stay at cheaper, but you're not going to have the amenities that you
Not where
would
you're
have
at.
if
Yeah.
you're staying someplace. So, but if you go on the Facebook groups and there's just a lot of people complaining about how expensive it is, and it's expensive everywhere. The Okaloosa County increased my condo that I just sold from what I purchased it for 5 years ago. They increased it $211,000.
Jeez. Well,
And so, it's like, and, when I contacted them, they're like, well, that's what they're selling for. So, they really can do whatever they want.
you can't fight. I don't know Florida law like I do Kentucky and Indiana, but you can't fight on that.
I probably could, but, I also, if they had comps that were selling for that, it's ultimately one of those things that I'm not down there. And I think that when I do go down there, that I will be able to see more of, and be able to see, okay, why did this happen, and what's going on?
Because if the comps are showing that, then okay, I can understand that.
They are. That's what that's what they were saying. So, but it's just one of those things where it's like,
because it's
increases,
right. Well, it's like within Kentucky, you pay the property taxes on what you paid for the establishment for the property, right? So if the prior owner paid $250,000 for it and then sold it to you for $450, you're paying taxes on $450, folks. You're not paying $250. And so Florida, I assume, is similar.
Yes,
okay,
it is. And so, but again, with the rise in prices, they just bumped everyone up for the comps. Now, that might back down because of all the drama that's going on down there. But, we'll see. But ultimately, I'm not in that one anymore. So
there you go.
But I'm looking
Smart
other
cookie.
places. So,
Smart
we'll
cookie.
see. Who knows?
Well, you going to come back for the reunion in October?
I don't think that I'll be here.
No?
No. My plan is to be, my plan's to be here around, towards the end of the month, each month.
Each month, okay.
Yeah, because there's dates that I meet with clients And so, and it's not something I'm pushing up. I mean, I'm going to be here.
You're not going, I'm not going.
Well, you know.
And no offense to my fellow high school peeps, but I pretty much see who I see, who I want to see from high school.
Well, I was kind of disappointed it wasn't at the Dixie Club.
Oh, Lord, here we go. She's saying that because I requested if we could have it somewhere else because we've had it at Dixie Club before. Yeah. So I was just curious.
I was there. I went to that one.
I did not go to that one.
Yeah.
We won't bring up that. That's another podcast discussion. It's called divorce. So we'll talk about that at another podcast. Yeah. But anyways, well, Lisa, I appreciate you taking the time and explaining, it's living below your means, following a budget, researching where it is that you want to maybe have that second home or Airbnb it or whatever it might be. But you need to educate yourself first prior to that. A lot of people jump into things and not truly understanding the cost, the time, the energy, and research that's involved in order to be able to do what you've done.
Yeah. Well, and, as we've talked before, I mean, the house has to have good bones.
True that.
Because, as you well know, I've lived in one that didn't have the greatest of bones.
Correct.
So, buying the wrong home can be just a money pit. And if you've ever watched The Money Pit, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. You've had quite a bit of that, and I'll have you back to talk about home disasters. So, But anyways, you have any other questions or things that you might want to add on to this discussion?
I don't think so.
Believe it or not,
Thanks for having me.
We've gone almost 40 minutes into discussion, so cool. I got to edit. Lord knows I love doing that. But anyways, I appreciate your time.
Sure.
And you guys follow, share, much appreciated. And no, I haven't decided what the name. What the hell are we calling this damn podcast? That's probably going to be the name of it because I don't know what to call it because it's a discussion of potpourri of awesomeness. So, anyways, all right. Till next time, guys. Appreciate you. Thanks so much.